cost of survival for a family of four in the United States is $140,000 a year. And I said, Mike, it definitely is higher than 45,000 for a family of four, but 140, you might be pushing it.
We're talking about the price of groceries going up, the cost of living rising, paychecks staying stagnant, or people losing their jobs, layoffs happening, all those things. I saw this video recently where a guy was talking about at $140,000 a year, you are considered poor. The change in the classes, lower class, middle class, upper class, ultra wealthy, all those different things are changing. And so when I saw this on his page, I had to watch. Take a look at this.
All right, let's talk money, y'all. So the investor and portfolio manager, Mike Green, came out last week and basically said that the economic data that the United States government puts out in regards to what the poverty line is false and it needs to be updated.
You're saying the real poverty line is 140,000, essentially.
It is very close. And I want to just be clear that 140,000 doesn't mean you are literally poor, right? We're not talking about, country poor sort of stuff. What I'm describing there is that's really the threshold at which you can cover all of the expenses without government assistance and start saving, right? Start preparing for your future. That's a very, very different place than most people think it is.
I forget what the exact number was, but I think the United States government has the poverty line somewhere between like $38,000 and $45,000 a year, right, for a family of four. And Mike Green was basically saying, nah, y'all gotta update that. This is crazy. Like, I know I've been making money and millions on millions, and I'm this big portfolio manager, and my kids and my wife and everything is good. But like, when I looked at this data, I was like, nah, this can't be right. So he put out his economic data and said that the real math or cost of survival for a family of four in the United States is $140,000 a year. And I said, Mike, it definitely is higher than 45,000 for a family of four, but 140, you might be pushing it. And then I saw the breakdown. Let's go over this breakdown, and I'm gonna compare it to myself, who lives a modest life in Connecticut, right? And show you how realistic what this dude is saying is real. And why is the government hiring this from us, right? So childcare, $32,000 a year.
$32,000 a year for childcare. So I'm going to tell y'all this. I was looking to sign my kids up for summer camp. Why was summer camp almost $400 a week per child? $400 a week per child for the summer camp. So that would have been $3,200 for the month, just about. Hold on, let me do my math right. That's 800. Yeah, 800 a week. 800 times 4, $3,200. Yeah. What? No, we can't do that. We can't do that. A week for 2 kids? Nah. So $32,000 for the year. That's outrageous. And I know newborns really do cost a lot. Like, I know the price for them to go to daycare is expensive.
$32,700 a year is roughly $2,700 a month, right? We are blessed. We have a 14-year-old and an 8-year-old, so we don't have daycare costs. We got just general costs of raising children and after school activities and sports and things of that nature. But we don't have that bill.
And let me say this. I didn't have that bill because my mom watched the kids. Thank you, Mom. Love you.
From my friends who have kids, I know people who are paying $1,500 to $1,800 a month for one kid. So $2,700 is definitely a realistic number if you a family of 4, mom, dad, or 2 parents and 2 children, who are pre-grade school. You got a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old. That's realistic. Okay, bet. It's not my personal situation, but that's a realistic number, right? Housing, $23,200. That is roughly $1,900 a month. I know plenty of people who pay $2,200 a month for rent, $2,500 a month for rent. Or if you bought a house in the past 3 or 4 years, post 2021, you got a mortgage of $2,600 to $3,500 a month. Yeah, they paying more than $23,000 a year in housing. You know what I'm saying? Because that housing figure is 19. So, okay, you may not have the child costs, but you probably got the $3,200 mortgage or the $2,600 rent. So take it from the child cost, add it to that. We also were blessed. We bought in 2019. So my housing cost is significantly lower. My mortgage is only $1,200 a month, which is only $14,000 a year. So we're significantly under there. Food, he got it at $14,700. That is roughly $1,200 a month. We're spending more than that on food. I'll tell you right now, we on average are spending $1,500 to $1,600 a month on food. And that's just grocery store food. You know what I'm saying? That's not us eating out and we eat out. So we're close to the $18,000 to $21,000 a year on food in my household for my family of four, right? Transportation, we paid off our cars. So we don't have any car notes or anything like that. All we have is insurance on the cars and gas. So for cars, we're about $3,500 a year to cover them, insure them, and gas and maintenance. $3,500 to $4,000 a year. Transportation at $14,800. That's roughly $1,200 a month on transportation, right? That's two people with $450 to $500 car notes and some insurance. You got a $450 car note, your spouse got a $520 car note, and y'all both paying $100 a month in insurance. Y'all paying way more than that when you factor in gas and everything and maintenance and stuff like that. So that number also is realistic. Healthcare, he got it at $10,500. That is a realistic number
Now, when he said healthcare, made me think about the changes in healthcare coming up where the premiums are rising. So that number might even expand over time. This is a lot of money. Now, do you write your bills down? I write my bills down. I always want to make sure that I can see them and that they're itemized. You know what? Speaking of, I might come up with like a budget freebie or something where you can just click it, download it, and fill it out yourself. How about that? That would be nice, right?
depending on what you got going on. Do you have to pay for healthcare out of pocket? Do you do the subsidized stuff through the Obamacare marketplace? Trump is switching all that up now. So come January, the healthcare is about to be even more crazy. Or do you have healthcare that's sponsored through your employer? We're blessed. My wife works for an employer who subsidizes probably 75 to 80% of the healthcare costs. So we pay roughly $380 a month for healthcare for the family of four. But I'm an entrepreneur. And when I was looking up healthcare before my wife and went and got a full-time job and we got that blessing of a benefit, my healthcare for my family of four out of pocket as an entrepreneur was $2,400 a month. That's almost.
Speaking of healthcare, I saw this video. I might add it in here after this, just as something to help you all with, where I learned about, it's like a membership at a doctor's office or a membership for a group of doctors. You'll know what I'm talking about when I show it. I'm gonna add it in here.
So basically, I'm a direct primary care doctor. This model is becoming a lot more common. Doctors are cutting out the middlemen, which is insurance companies, and taking back their control of their practice.
But that might be an easier route for a lot of people who are losing their health care or who are experiencing higher premiums. There's a membership that you can use. It's kind of like a concierge service with doctors, but I'm going to add it in here.
$29,000 a year if you're an entrepreneur or someone who doesn't have a subsidized plan through an employer out of your pocket. So if you're an entrepreneur, you're paying way more than $10,000 a year, but you could be paying less depending on what your healthcare provider. That number is also realistic. And then he has $21,000 or $22,000 for other essentials, also very realistic. That's $2,000 a month. That could be your toiletries in your house. That could be sports for your kids. That could be, there's so many clothes, you know, something breaks in the house, the furnace goes out. My furnace just went out. I just paid $900 to get that fixed. You know what I'm saying? Like just miscellaneous stuff. That leaves you with a total of $118,000 of real cash dollars. Then you have to factor in that even though you make a certain amount of income, you got to pay taxes. So he added in another $18,500 for taxes, which puts you at a real poverty line of $140,000. Now, some would argue that that's not the poverty line, that's surviving. But to me in this country, if you're just covering your basic essentials, you just got a car, you got food on the table, you got somebody to watch your kids while you work, like you're not thriving. So yeah, that's poverty. $140. Family of four, $140. That's insane.
What y'all think about that? Now, I know these comments was probably really good. You know, I got to look at the comments. Let's take a look. All right, so the first comment says, someone said you can't budget your way out of poverty. I think this proves it. The next one says, I've been wondering, when are we going to stop acting like we're okay? Oh, that's a good one. Are you okay? Are you doing all right? But also, if you make $140K, you are paying significantly more than $18K in taxes. The poverty line is $15,000. They think we can manage on that. Look, I had to zoom in. Like, what are you talking about? All this without savings, 401K investments. We in trouble, y'all. Mike Green said, stop gaslighting me. The comments go on. Then they would have to admit how many federal workers live below the poverty line, teachers alone, not including student loans for a large portion of Americans. And the employer's still trying to pay the same pay as 2021 when everything has increased. What do you say? If that ain't the damn truth. I took an economics of poverty class in grad school and argued this point in 2017. The poverty line has to change. It hasn't changed since the 60s. Somebody said they know it. They just don't care. Sitting here with a $2,600 mortgage and childcare. Get me off this ride. Yes. And jobs now are posting jobs paying $12.50. And we are allowing it like some point you're working for free. I make more now than I've ever made in my life, and I'm just as broke as I was 10 years ago. This is sad. This is very, very sad. We're paying $1,800 a month for 3 days a week in daycare. 3 days. This is crazy. I made $100,000 with my honey last year. We are struggling more than when we made $50,000. Wages went up, but everything else has tripled. You need $150K a year after taxes to survive now. If you make $140K, your take home will be $84 to $105K depending on your state. The minimum wage hasn't increased since Obama in 2008, almost 20 years, and no raise for the people. I save almost $33,000 a year not having kids. Look, polishing my nails, I ain't got to worry about it, she said. They're still taxing us at rates that might have made sense 10 years ago. They don't want to raise the poverty line because then they'd have to do something about it. That could be raising minimum wage, lowering costs they have control of, or raising the limits for people to be on public assistance, none of which do they want to do. Somebody said, America is too expensive now. American dream is dead because regular people can't afford it anymore. Yet a lot of jobs think $20 is enough hourly. That's not going to work. Somebody said, mind you, they just raised the poverty line to $40,000. And here we are talking about a whole $100,000 more. I can't. And the last one says, and I wonder why the depression rates have went up so much. It's a depressive time for a lot of people. It's a depressive time. So what are your thoughts on that? What do you think the poverty line should be? Should it be 140,000? Would that help a lot of people if that poverty line changed? Again, this is someone's opinion. This is someone's, thoughts on what they think should happen. And as we read in the comments, a lot of people agree that the poverty line needs to change. A lot of things need to change, right? All right. Thank you so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you on the next video. Hold up. Here's the video I promised.
The moment y'all find out I don't take insurance, click. Y'all don't even give me a chance to explain myself, right? So what I wanted to do was I want to come on here and explain why I do not take insurance and the concept of my practice. So if you don't know, I am Dr. Adesola Oyewole. I'm a board certified physician in Houston, Texas. I'm the owner of Lily Primary Care. And so basically my practice operates on a membership model. My patients pay a monthly membership fee for the benefits of having me as their physician, number one. But in addition to that, they also get hour-long visits with me. They get unlimited medical visits. They get the ability to text me after hours, really 24/7, but let's just keep it after hours. They also get discounts on labs and imaging. And so in addition to that, there's also more of a personal relationship, right? My patients are not rushing. They're not rushed out. I'm not rushing to see, to get through the visit. I'm really focused on taking care of my patients. If anything were to happen, God forbid, my patient get admitted to the hospital, I follow them while they're in the hospital and when they come out. And so that's what's included in the 125. And a lot of times my patients end up saving money because of the discounts on the labs and the discounts on the imaging, right? Say, for instance, you go see your doctor. Some of you guys pay a copay and end up getting a bill whenever you get home. That's more expensive than the visit. And so this is a way to make medicine simple, to simplify medicine. All of the fees are upfront, transparent. You know what you're paying for, and you're getting a better quality of care with your primary care doctor. And so that is the reason why I do not take insurance. Don't come for me. It's just a better way for me to practice and connect with my patients, and then also a better experience for you guys. So basically, I'm a direct primary care doctor. This model is becoming a lot more common. Doctors are cutting out the middlemen, which is insurance companies, and taking back their control of their practice. And so if you're looking for a doctor like me, you can go ahead and look at the Direct Primary Care Alliance to read more about DPC. And you can also look online at the DPC Mapper, and that will definitely show you a DPC physician near you. We are becoming more common. This is not something that I invented or came up with myself, but it is a model that I am in love with. So, thank you for everyone who has said so many good things. I think there's way more positive than the negative when it comes to DPC, and this is the future.